Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, yes, wherever you are. Welcome to Focus on Liberia. I am the West African correspondent, Edward Amara. Welcome to the analysis of the news on the continent of Africa. Focus on Liberia, Roundtable Africa uses this forum to inform you or keep you abreast of the news occurring on the continent. We help to bring the continent closer to you and you also closer to the continent. It's an all-interactive program where we carefully dish out information to our numerous listeners across the globe on things that are actually happening, things that affect the continent, those that we think and feel that Focus on Africa may be interested to see how issues like that are resolved. So today, we are coming from all over the continent with important, interesting news. And we majorly have three important stories to cover. One, we visit Nigeria. We had Nigeria resident doctors start 5 days, one in strike. Then we also have malaria authorities raid refugee camps or refugee homes. Then we have Sudan deal to protect civilians has failed, charity program says. And we also go Twitter users falling for Nigeria chief, Paradol account. The Nigeria ambush, 4 killed in attack on US envoy in Anambra State. If you can watch at it, a lot of things actually happens into Nigeria. We are going to what they are so major, and some of them cannot be actually taken as isolated incidents. They are having a kind of dire effect on the country per se. So let's start. Welcome, and you are free to participate on all the issues being discussed. First, Nigeria is having a population of over 200 million people. They do not have enough resident doctors in the country. When you watch at the doctors ratio per patient, it's a calculated insult. However, the doctors in Nigeria, especially resident doctors, those who are trained and qualified into the country, are seeking their way out of the country for greener pastures. They claim that the service condition into the country is so poor. They are fighting for themselves, fighting for doctors who have worked over the years but are not adequately being paid and are living in forgettable conditions. And they are also fighting for those who are young. That is what they are saying. We are fighting for ourselves, fighting for those who have stayed into the service, and those who are still young. So it's a combination. The Nigerian government is threatening to not to pay doctors who have actually embarked on the strike. And the Nigerian government is also seeking an injunction from the Supreme Court banning all doctors who will graduate or who are graduating, who have graduated, who will graduate, or who are graduating into the country, not to leave the soil of Nigeria to seek doctors who may graduate will not definitely have future opportunity to go. However, they should actually work for 5 good years. After the 5 good years, then those doctors can come. That is what they are saying. After the 5 good years, those doctors can come and can leave the country. But if you have not completed your 5 good years, then they are saying, no, don't leave the country and you will not seek employment anywhere out of Nigeria. They are so certain, and the government want to even ban that particular movement of migration of medical doctors who have graduated from the country seeking what opportunity abroad, that they should work for 5 good years. Then all those who are embarking on the strike will not be paid. And it has widely been alleged by the same government that they are holding talk with the Nigeria Medical Board to see how they can end the strike. However, when some media outlets met the doctors, They said nobody has met them and nobody has invited them to any meeting. So they are willing to embark on strike. And when journalists visited a school training, a medical school training in Lagos, nobody was found there who was a health professional either to attend the school in time of teaching or lecturing or to render any other medical service. So it's a dire situation, and the government is keenly watching on it to see how the situation can be resolved. Because looking at the Nigerian society, they have over 210 million people, yet they do not have enough medical doctors. If the little they have are threatening to go on strike, it is the civilians that are going to suffer. Most of those politicians, in fact, they hardly visit the local clinics in Nigeria. They have their own power, they have their own resources where they can seek medical attention abroad. Take a common example. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has just won the Nigeria election, although it is under serious scrutiny. But that will not stop his inauguration on the 29th of this month here. Has on several occasions been seeking medical attention abroad. After he won the election, he also went abroad. In Nigeria also, we have seen the United States, USA, envoy was attacked on its way to Amara state. In the southwest state, the independent people for the independent movement for the emancipation of the people of the Niger Delta, they normally call them IPOB. These are the Igbo people. They're actually seeking to be independent from Nigeria. According to wide allegation, IPOB is responsible for the attack on the USA envoy. 4 people were killed, 3 were kidnapped, but no United States citizen was touched, according to the report. The United States, in collaboration with the Nigerian government, are investigating the incident, but they have blamed IPOB of being the brain behind the attack. When media outlets try to contact IPOB, nobody has commented, and they have not seen anybody who's actually willing to talk to them on behalf of the organization, whether the government and the wide allegation against them is actually true. The United States is saying that she values her citizens, especially workers, those employees which are killed, and those who have been kidnapped. Issues are going to be taken into serious account, and they will investigate alongside the Nigerian government to ensure that those responsible are adequately prosecuted or brought to book for punishment. That is what they are saying. Then also in Nigeria, Twitter users falling for Nigeria chef Paradol account. There was a lady in India who cooked for 87 hours, unstoppable 87 hours. So yesterday in Nigeria, a lady by the name of Basi cooked for 100 hours without stopping. So she's now taken as a celebrated chef. And being a celebrated chef, the Guinness worldwide record is actually reviewing and verifying pieces of evidence that can confirm that she's the best cook and the longest one who can stay cooking without resting for 100 hours. Today, she was being visited by some friends, and she was seen into other communities. When some media outlets, including the BBC, reached out, though she could not be interviewed directly, but she's widely being celebrated by the Nigerians, and the national anthem of Nigeria was sung on her behalf. And the Nigerians are thinking that she should actually hold the Guinness World Record of being the longest, the cook who can cook for, who is capable of cooking for longest hours, 800, because the one who was actually holding the record was on 87 and from India. So Nigeria is now calling upon Africans to ensure that hero is being celebrated worldwide. However, the certificate of being the outstanding cook in the world is yet to be confirmed by Guinness World Record. Reason being, they are saying they are still investigating the pieces of evidence that can lead them to that particular conclusion. But from Nigerians they thought that she has won. And there was also a kind of miscommunication, maybe misfeeling, misinterpretation. The Ghanaians were with high thought that Basi actually is a Ghanaian. However, Basi's mother came out and publicly declared that she was a full-fledged Nigerian. She has got nothing in terms of paternal link with the Ghanaian society. So Nigeria has won that, although it was actually kind of like a wet blanket, especially for those Ghanaians who are celebrating her being the chef and the best and longest serving cook or longest hours cook on the planet was actually a Nigerian. Today she is a Ghanaian. Today she has been declared as a Nigerian. So let's come to Malawi. Malawi authorities raided refugee camps. In Malawi, actually, it is forbidden for refugees to live outside the camp. It was noticed that over 300 homes of foreigners, especially from Burundi, Ethiopia, and Democratic Republic of Congo, who are actually staying in Malawi, but they were staying in the capital city, Lilongwe. So the police officer, spokesperson, all the police constables and the spokesperson of the police actually confirmed the raiding of those refugees who were actually staying in the capital, Lilongwe. They are saying it is actually lawful for refugees to stay into Malawi. However, it is unlawful for them to stay out of the designated camps. So refugees who are living in the capital, be it Lilongwe or Blantyre, should not be staying there under legal backing. Those refugees should go back into their designated camp. Unfortunately, designated camps years back was built for only 10,000 refugees. Now, the camp hosts over 50,000 refugees. They have also confirmed that raiding the 300 residents of the refugees who are living in Lilongwe, another part of Malawi, was definitely not a problem. However, having raided them and assembled them together, they don't know where they will find location for them in the camps. Since originally this was a designated area for 10,000 people. Now, the camp is hosting over 50,000 people. The refugees are claiming that they decided not to stay in the designated camp, but to come in the capital city, Lilongwe. Reason being, they have good businesses over there. There are good health institutions and good schools, especially for their children, educational institutions. The government is saying no. The educational institutions into the camp are of standard quality. Then the camps have good hospitals, and there are businesses around where the refugees can actually do their daily transaction. But when you watch at it, one can easily corroborate, if not confirm, or agree with the refugees' claim. Because in their statement, the camps were actually built, or the camp was actually built for 10,000 refugees. And it is now hosting 50,000 refugees. So the difference is 40,000. So a facility or facilities that we actually built for 10,000 people, how can those facilities adequately and efficiently serve provide services for 50,000 people? So have you seen this? And it is Malawians who have done the raiding. And that is their own national law, that refugees or foreigners, people who are actually living in their country as refugees, should not be living out of the designated camps being confirmed to them. They are claiming there is strong security, they have standard educational institutions, they have good health facilities, and the refugees have almost always denied this, especially those who are staying in town. Last year, around 2 refugees actually sought out the court order that can prevent the government from raiding them and even stopping them to live among themselves or among the citizens. I was actually once a refugee. I lived in Guinea. That was where I grew up. Thankfully enough, all my childhood days were actually spent in Guinea. So I know Guinea a lot, and I was happy staying over there. We also face situations like that, maybe situation of discrimination, situation of telling you where you belong, situation of telling you that you are not a Guinean, you should not involve into anything that is typically Guineans affairs. Nevertheless, we are allowed to live among citizens. And some citizens were even living into our camps. Maybe it could be because of our not string language barrier, the same culture, and the interwovenness of the three countries. Both Liberians and Sierra Leoneans were living in Guinea. And even today, you can see a lot of Guineans living in Sierra Leone and Liberia. However, in time of controversy, those of us who are actually, or those refugees who are living in among the citizens could easily be rounded up and tortured. And the right we are not almost always protected. But we had enough camps and refugees we are staying over there. It was just like an amalgamated situation where citizens see themselves as the refugees. Maybe the only dichotomy, if not huge barrier between us, was the language. The language could be like maybe they speak French, I will speak English. But it did not take long time when it was a positive, maybe amalgamation of mixture, and everybody started making certain adjustments. But when war broke out in the early 2000s in Guinea, we all saw what happened. Refugees were the primary target. We are being tortured, looted. In fact, some of us were asked out of the camps and they burned them. This was a very brutal scenario. When refugees attacked Guinea, I was very, very small in 2000. What they did, well, then I was still in my teens. What they did, they will ask you out of the camp. When you leave, in fact, you will be taking out your clothes or your luggage or baggage, they will be burning the camps behind you. It was so pathetic. They accused refugees of being responsible. And unfortunately, it was Liberians, Sierra Leoneans that they accused of being the major people responsible for the war in Guinea, although it erupted among themselves. But since Liberia and Sierra Leone were already suffering from the rebel war, they accused the countries to be the main reason why war was taking place in Guinea. So targeting the refugees was very common. But it also became some amount of obstacle because there was intermarriages and people saw themselves as one. So it was actually a Herculean task. So I'm feeling it for those refugees, those Burundians, those Malawians, those Burundians, those Ethiopians, and those people from the Democratic Republic of Congo who have actually been raided. And finally, Sudan, deal to protect civilians has failed. So pathetic. Africa is sleeping. I wonder, Cyril Ramaphosa has not been able to solve Africa's problem. They want to go into Ukraine and Russia. Maybe it is because it is having a global impact on our persons, on our life, on our economies, everything that we are doing. But also solving the Sudanese issue was very common. Maybe we were having a challenging situation in South Sudan. North Sudan. Then there's another challenging situation in Ukraine. Let the West solve the West problem. Let Africa solve their own problem. Why can't we exercise that type of mentality? But now, the president of South Africa, that of Kenya, maybe Congo, I don't really know whether it is Democratic Republic of Congo or Congo Brazzaville, actually leading the leading president that intend to solve that particular problem. It is unfortunate that Africa is still divided, yet we have pecks into our eyes. We want to take a cloth in another man's eyes. So this is a very sad situation. They are heading. But in Sudan, the war is still taking place. Civilians are being raped, pathetically. In fact, life-saving equipment have been looted. Patients under oxygen have been taken out. Hospitals being looted. International airports have been attacked. Then at the same time, world or relief organizations have definitely been attacked. People are being killed. And people are even using, some soldiers are even using the civilians as human shield. Even the 3 days peace fire that was expected to take place so that they can allow the civilians to escape have also failed. Now everybody is sad. Everybody is, it's just maybe nobody knows what will definitely take place. And these so-called generals are saying one person must go down the road. What they are saying in particular is that, except otherwise, they must arrest and publicly bring to book one another. Dagalo says he will arrest and bring Albuham to book. When he's being convicted, he will be publicly executed. Albuham is saying he will ensure that Dagalo and his Janjaweed or Rapid Support Forces or paramilitary forces will be defeated, the leader arrested, and adequately prosecuted. Then tough rebels who are or human rights violators who are actually under detention have been released. Prisons have been broken. Those people with dangerous mentality are out there. They are the one causing this rape. And men announcing as target. Either you are recruited to fight along them or you risk being killed. Children are suffering. Starvation is on its height. The United or UN is asking for $3 billion to ensure that, United States dollars, to ensure that the Sudanese crisis is being solved or targeted, especially to provide relief or aid for those refugees. And South Sudan is also worried because the economy of South Sudan depends heavily on oil. 80% of its backbone is oil. And most of their oil pipe, refinery, whatsoever things actually based in the North Sudan. And in North, there is a series of maybe different type of wars going on. It is not only based in Khartoum, in Darfur region and others, they have now replicated in the same situation. Now, South Sudan is living in a very dangerous situation. They are now facing a dilemma. Maybe it's a dilemma, when you are in a delicate situation, two of those situations are very attractive. You don't know which one to take. But the dilemma is becoming a triple fold because one, they want to negotiate. Secondly, they want to protect their interest in Northern Sudan. And they may want to seek the consent of one of these organizations or one of these warring factions, either Dagalo or Abuam. But seeking the interest of Dagalo without involving Abuam, Abuam may end up to attack because they will see them like siding. And they do not have the political mandate to go and occupy and even protect those places. Maybe if the situation becomes volatile, they will have no option rather than to cross and protect their oil or their interest area. Because other forces occupying there may end up to destroy the refinery and it will have the dire consequences on their own life. At the same time, they want to strike peace. So this is a very dangerous situation. We're hoping to see that situations like that do not almost always continue on the continent. So far, so good. These are some of the major news that we Focus on Africa assembled to bring to you and the analysis. To end the news, let's go over the major headline. Nigerian resident doctors start 5-day strike. The claim of government that they have proposed a meeting to them, they are saying no invitation has been received. The government is threatening them to cut their salaries, and it has also banned any doctor who is yet to practice more than 5 years after graduation into the country to leave the soil. The doctors are saying they are living in pathetic situation and they need to seek greener pasture. Malawi authorities raid refugee camps. Then South Sudan deal to protect civilians have definitely failed. Then we have also seen Twitter users for Nigeria chefs are following a parallel account. The Nigeria ambush 4 killed. In the Nigeria ambush, 4 civilians have been killed, 3 kidnapped, and it was the United States envoy that was kidnapped. Thank you. It's been me, Edward Amara, coming to you with the latest news on the continent. Join me back, same place, same time tomorrow.